Hey everybody! It is the first Top Rope Spoilers of 2023. I'm Steve.
I'm Kia. Y'all already know this.
Yeah, well, not everyone, in case they're new.
And it's been what?
Hey, in case they're new to the show.
Alright, I'm sorry. And Alyssa is back there recording for right now, so say hey to Alyssa.
Don't you worry, you'll see her soon.
Hey.
But we are here for the first premium live event, Top Rope Spoilers, for the Royal Rumble, live from San Antonio. We'll be there. Watch for the entrance videos. First of all, can we get a talk over of this photo and the poster that they used for this? This was immaculate.
Their renders are great. Like, if they
better stick with this.
If they have renders like this for all of, like, their shows, like their PLEs and everything, that would be great. You look how fierce and competitive they are.
Especially old Roman over here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
From the back. But I mean, you look at everything across the board. It's kind of like a Marvel feel to me. It felt like something
exactly
from
what
like
I was
Infinity
thinking.
Wars or something.
Like where they all come together to get the stone, try to take out the what's his name?
Thanos.
And then they get taken out.
You think Marvel will sue us?
Then please don't.
Kidding, we're kidding.
Then they come back and then they are like better than ever because they're stronger together.
Well, this looks like it's going to be a blast, and just. We're back to live events again, You have that long 7 to 8 week lull between Deadline and this one.
Mm-hmm.
You get through the holidays, through the cold months, finally get a chance to get back into the arenas again, for these live events, and they've got a killer one, even though there's only 5 matches on the card. It looks to be a good one. But first, a quick shout out to Hardy, sold out. #1 show, or #1 album right now on the Billboard top albums right now, so congratulations. Absolutely, and here he's going to be doing a live performance. Y'all enjoy that. That probably will be my bathroom break. No disrespect. I like the entrances. I don't do the music parts. That's Kia's and Alyssa's definitely. That's y'all's forte.
We're gonna be in
Y'all
that thing,
have fun with
yeah.
But we're also closing in on the end of season 3 of our picks game, and it's been a little bit since we've actually had to update our board here. Everybody doing semi-well at Deadline. We were there for that as well. 3 across the board, except for Kia, who picked up 2.
We can still see it.
Got to watch Grayson Waller stare right at her
It's
while he drank something out of a shoe.
Ew.
It's
That's gross.
well, it depends on your point of view, I suppose. So I've still got the upper hand at 63, but the OTRAs and Alyssa both hanging right with me, 59. But there's a chance for a pair of 5-point Royal Rumble picks here. So Kia, most definitely. Hey, you've picked up Bianca a couple of years ago, so
Twice.
so it's definitely room to catch up here, and a lot of choices. So with even though there's only 5 matches on the card, there are 13 possible points available for this particular live event. But with that, let's get the show started, and that is with our first match, and it is for the Raw Women's Championship.
Ooh, child.
First of all, again, the renders are absolutely magnificent. I will give that to you, young lady. As we see the current and incumbent Raw Women's Champion battling it out against the newly redarkened Alexa Bliss. Something that was brought up in our previous shows was through our award show is the timer clock, which you'll now see over in the corner. Helps to keep us on track because we
talk a lot.
We ramble.
We talk a lot.
Absolutely do. So this will help to hopefully keep us on track a little bit, assuming I can get the thing to start here. But, give me a moment here. There we go. Cool. And so we will chat here for a few minutes. So thoughts on this one going into it? They've really run a good story with this one.
I'm honestly, when it comes to Bianca, I feel like she's holding her own. She's holding her own without any help, unlike Bayley.
Hey, well, digress though. Lord.
And I feel like Alexa can hold her own too, despite how small and short she is. I feel like these two women at one point were together and they were on the same page. They were on the same team. And now Alexa is sitting here saying, "I'm coming after that title." But
only 2 months ago.
But I'll let you keep your eye so you can see me walk away. I think that's a bold statement coming from Alexa to Bianca. And I feel like, that being said, I feel like Bianca is taking everything that she's saying, all the pain that she's had to feel from Alexa, and I think she's going to use that going into this match. And I feel like it's going to give her the upper hand. Now, we never know with Alexa because she's got this whole dark thing. She's got that going on, and then you know how when the lights go out and then the screen goes to black and you see the little butterfly caterpillar that's upside down, then that happens to triggers her, and then you have the Uncle Howdy master and the crowd that triggers her. So I don't know how that's going to work out and if that's going to give her the upper hand to have the dark side and have the match won. But I've seen a lot worse when it's come to Alexa and her dark side. So I'm not really worried for Bianca, but I'm a little worried for Bianca.
Love it. Alyssa?
Just
see the smile she has right now.
It's the little awkward Tina one. Oh, goodness.
Put on your Bray face.
No, I'm looking forward to this match. I think this is one of the ones I'm looking forward to more, honestly, because I really don't know what to expect. I mean, it's the EST. Like, I have all the confidence in the world for her. And, you know, when she pulls it off, I'm going to be like, never had a doubt. But in the back of my head, I'm already knowing how I'm going to be. I'm like, oh, dear God. Please don't let one of the masks come out. I don't know. When it comes to Alexa and that dark side, ciao.
Look at her fingers.
I'm just looking at her fingers now, and I'm just like, look at those nails, one, because they look good.
They do.
But two, I'm just like, goodness. I think you hit the nail on the head, Kia. I'm not worried for Bianca, but I'm worried.
The reality is we've had an opportunity to see Alexa's dark side during her run originally with Bray Wyatt a couple of years ago, going all the way back to her spitting, shooting fireballs at Randy Orton. And
Jesus
also,
Christ.
during that time, remember getting a pinfall victory over the 14-time world champion.
Yeah.
So this is no joke. Alexa absolutely is a foursome on herself. And yet, it still seems like she feels like she's being disrespected and overlooked. The entire time, Bianca at every interview has been about, well, I don't care if it's Uncle Howdy, I don't care if you bring out Bray, I don't care if you bring out The Fiend, I don't care who you bring out, all the puppets, bring out every one of them. The only person she's not talking about is Alexa.
Yeah, that is kind of a little bit disrespectful.
Right, and it's concerning to her because she's like, I've won this championship 5 times.
Yeah.
Like, I've won it more than you have.
Ooh.
And have held it longer.
Ooh.
So, ultimately, at the end of the day, Alexa Bliss now at this point is finally tired of playing into that role of, I'm going to be nice, I'm going to be sweet because I'm small and I'm cute or I'm blonde or whatever euphemism you want to use there, because she feels like she should be the top contender and has played sidekick or has played in tag team play for long enough. But like y'all pointed out, she's the EST champion, will be at 299 consecutive days as Raw Women's Champion entering this match, which makes her the longest reigning African-American women's champion in the history of the company for a single reign. So, obviously quite a daunting challenge to see exactly what she's going to face in terms of, can she get past Alexa and get to 300? And then, of course, awaiting out the Royal Rumble match later in the night to find out who she would face next.
My thing is, we've seen, and just to drop this in real quick, we've seen Alexa transition from every evolution of Alexa straight back into her dark side and take a title off someone. So there's no doubt that could possibly be it. With her feeling disrespected, that could be something that could happen again. I'm not really, I don't know where to go with this. I hope it doesn't, but I could see it going in that direction. But I could also see it going in the direction of Bianca feels like, hey, I'm right here. We've been friends and everything else. I don't know. There's just a lot of storyline and good storytelling behind this whole entire story.
I also feel like there's a chance that, as much as everybody wants to sit here and say, okay, Alexa's dark side is going to carry her, each time the Bray Wyatt thing has come up, or Uncle Howdy, or whomever it is that's running the show here, she's become unhinged. Like, to the point of uncontrollable. The last time she got a match against Bianca, she got herself intentionally disqualified because she couldn't control her anger. If she wants to win the title, she has to keep herself under control. Listening, last thoughts before we go to picks? Just ready to rumble, huh?
Ready to rumble, child.
Well, we're inside the final minute, so it's time for our picks. I've got the lead, so I start things off. I am going to go with Bianca Belair to retain here. I could easily see this happening again in Elimination Chamber. I could see Alexa becoming unhinged again. But I do feel like Bianca has come too far and is too close to Mania. I think they're going to let her make it all the way to the end, even if that's where she drops it. So I think she escapes, but I think she wins. Alyssa, your next highest?
I also like Bianca. Yes, the EST. She ain't done me dirty yet, so I don't think she's going to start now. Yeah.
I can tell you every time I've picked Bianca, she's pulled it out and she's won, so I'm not changing my bet either. It's just Bianca, I guess, across the board.
Yep.
Okay, and of course, as always, we've had our polls up on the community page for the last couple of days here. So, of course, we move on to find out who the OTRA's picked here. Where's my mouse? There you are. And right now, as of this recording, it is 58% in favor of Bianca Belair. Not exactly the runaway that we're used to seeing with Bianca, though.
Yeah.
Bianca's usually in the 70s or the 80s with most of the OTRA votes, but they don't seem quite as convinced this time that they're going to get past, that she's going to get past Alexa. So we'll see how it all pans out. But moving on to match 2, and this one is where it gets fun and maybe a little product advertising as well, as we move into the PitchBlack match, brought to you by MountainDew. The long-awaited return of Bray Wyatt, finally getting an opportunity to return to the ring, and he will go one-on-one with LA Knight. We all know how much Kia loves LA Knight.
The hell I do.
Kia loves LA Knight.
I hope y'all heard the hell I do. Michael Jackson
There you
wanna
go.
be having no.
Goodness gracious. You know, this one has been long awaited because of Bray. You know, I mean, you got to think, he came back in October. You were there for
Yeah.
the event in Philadelphia.
Ooh, chill.
And then, ironically, Philadelphia last night being where he gets his genuine moment with The Undertaker and also laying out Knight. But it's also the last interaction between the two prior to their match at the Rumble. And LA Knight getting his first big match on the big stage since coming up, going through that god-awful maximum male model storyline, but now getting a chance to show what he can do. And, I mean, what a match to get placed in for your first one.
Just to let you know, I do not like LA Knight. I feel like he's an older version of The Miz, but The Miz could pull off being, like, older than this just because he's The Miz. I don't like his mouth. I don't like nothing about him. He ain't all that like he keeps saying he is. And he should have stuck with the maximum male models because he was doing really well over there. But they let him separate, and now look at what he's doing.
Perhaps a hint of sarcasm there?
Yeah,
Just a
probably.
hint?
No, there's no maybe. I don't even know anymore. As far as when it comes to Bray, I was glad to be there. I thought it was great to see him return. Now, the funny thing is, I didn't see anything else. I saw him, and I saw a bunch of lights, but I didn't see anything, like, in the crowd as far as the puppets and everything.
Indoor.
As
Oh,
far
yeah.
as the puppets and everything else, I was informed by Alyssa, as I was slowly watching the scene, after the fact that it happened, that there were puppets and different people in the crowd for his puppets, or whatever.
Mhm.
But as far as that's concerned, I feel like you're right. Throwing him in a match with Bray, this man can put over anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We always say that, like, the Miz can give the Krispy Kreme look, and Dolph Ziggler can do it. Bray Wyatt can put over anybody that you put in front of him, and he can make it look good, win, lose, so forth, so on. So I feel like this is going to be a good match. I feel like this PitchBlack match, I feel like it gives the advantage to Bray, because outside of The Undertaker, who knows better pitch black darkness than Bray himself?
Absolutely.
All I'm gonna say is I think he about to whoop his behind. All this mess he been talking, all the smack, all the doubt, every bit of it. I'm just like, I hope he takes it to him. I hope he takes it to him good. Like, even last night, shut up. Even last night when he was having to pick between him and The Undertaker, it was just like, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
It doesn't matter which way you run. It's not
Either way,
be
you're gonna be
pretty.
messed up. But I just hope this is just a good, like, fight, you know? And I hope he gets scared, too. I know I'm gonna be scared, because Bray scares me every time this man comes out. There's no doubt about it.
Well, there's
Jeez.
the certainly unique concept of the match, of it being called a pitch black match. Really, just the only thing that we know of is that the winner can only be decided by pinfall or submission. But short of that, we have no idea what to expect here. I would assume it's probably going to be a dark arena. I would assume things like this, but these are literally just guesses. We've never experienced a match like this
So
before.
my question is, if we're not going to be able to see nothing, how are we going to know they won? How are we going to know who
we're
won?
going to have to find some way. I mean, spotlights maybe is the
Probably
best
that's-
guess I can
That's
come
what
up
I was
with.
thinking. They're going to put a spotlight on them, but wow.
But I'm also curious to find out, and one thing I will say, what a great moment last night on Raw 30 with The Undertaker, kind of that passing of the torch moment to Bray Wyatt, you know, because first of all, anybody who has followed Bray knows the mental
Anguish.
stuff that he's had to go through. He's struggled with mental health, but has survived it, has come back, and he's now stronger than ever. Getting ready to marry his girl here later this year. Good job, JoJo. And it's good to see him back in his element, being loved by the WWE Universe as well as the wrestling community as a whole. So that was a fantastic moment. and I'm curious to see, because throughout the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing all the different iterations of Bray Wyatt. We saw him as the leader of the Wyatt family, and then we saw him as the leader inside, the Fun House, and then we've seen bits and pieces of the Fiend, and then of course you add Uncle Howdy in there as well. All these different iterations of Bray. I'm curious to see which one shows up, because so far the only one we haven't seen in any form or fashion go directly head-to-head with LA Knight has been the Fiend. So it'll be curious to see how he does it. Now, flip side of things, LA Knight, give him the credit he deserves. You made comparisons to a young Miz or a young Dolph Ziggler, and he's exactly the same way. I think he knows he goes into this the heavy underdog in a match like this, but he's confident in his abilities. He's confident in what he can do, and the reality is, whether he wins or he loses, he's going out with his mouth running.
Yeah, under a pile of rubble, in the dark. He always in some trouble talking. He always talking ish.
But I don't think this will fall to where I don't think this is going to be necessarily as one-sided as everyone thinks it's going to be. I do think that probably for a majority, we know who's going to take this match with that much build-up. But, I think Knight will go out there and will still put on a good match as well. Speaking of who we're picking, Alyssa, you're away first on this one.
Bray.
Didn't need long, huh?
I don't need long. Sorry.
Did not need long, huh?
Bray.
Wow, no explanation needed, huh?
Nope, none.
I mean, it's not difficult. It just makes sense.
Right, and and you can sit here and and I'll tell you right now, if somebody's willing to take the Vegas odds, I bet you Knight's got a pretty good plus-minus ratio on that one. But I got to go Bray as well. You've built up Wyatt for too long. The only way Knight wins this match is if somehow Uncle Howdy or whomever is part of his group kind of turns on him, and it would really defeat the purpose of all this build-up if ultimately Wyatt's going to lose his first match back, even if it is to someone with the caliber of LA Knight. So as much as I want to go, I can't do it, unfortunately.
He is so annoying when he says that ish. Oh my God, just keep your mouth closed.
Well, unfortunately, it will be Bray Wyatt, and that's not cockiness, that's just a fact of life. OTRA's, as fully expected, going pretty heavy on Bray here as well. 83% going with Bray Wyatt as well. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone.
It's not.
So I am going to switch places here with Alyssa real quick, because I know she wants to be on the camera for the next match. So I will take the wheel here for just a moment. Let her slide in here.
Y'all already know who's coming up.
Yeah, you already know where it's heading next. But this next one is for the undisputed WWE Universal title. Belts are on the side over here. Alyssa, if you would, please feel free to snag those at your convenience. But this is, could very well main event, but also let's recall last year that the Universal title was actually defended in the first match of the night when Reigns defended against Seth Rollins. So this could easily be a match that opens the night as well, but it will be, of course, Roman Reigns defending for the third time in 5 years. He will face Kevin Owens in a match at the Royal Rumble.
Can we go ahead, and before we even get started with...
Sorry about that. Nimble fingers back here deciding to hit a button. This is what happens when I take over. I should have kept it with the expert up there. But as you can see from the shiny gold that the ladies are holding, I think we can all fathomably guess where we're heading next. And that is the WWE Universal Championship match. As for the third time in 5 years, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens will go toe-to-toe with a championship on the line. Ironically, the Universal title each time. Owens the champion back in 2017, and it's Roman Reigns champion last year, and now they will go head-to-head, or 2 years ago. Now, this could just as easily main event, but also just as easily could go first like Rollins and Reigns did last year. So it'll be curious to see which way this one actually goes, but we will have plenty of opportunity to be able to discuss, so let's run the clock, and ladies, take it from here.
So before we get into this match of Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, can we go ahead and speak on what happened last night at the Philly event? What is it, Raw 30?
The Tribal Court.
How Paul Heyman decided he was just going to go ahead and lay out all the exhibits, A, B, C, and D. And then poor Sammy didn't look like he had no defense, nothing.
I ain't got nothing to say.
It's like, I don't got ish to say.
I said.
And here comes Roman. So you don't got no love for this family. You can't explain yourself. You can't do none of that. And then here comes Jay.
Jay coming out
Jay
that
literally
corner.
came out the corner, had exhibit A, B, C, D, and E, and said, look at all that he's done for this family. He's literally an invincible man. He has taken it all for this family.
My dog bulletproof.
That's
My
exactly
dog
what Jay.
bulletproof.
That's exactly what he said. And so for the fact Roman said he's getting to stick around a little longer,
Yeah.
that's a good thing, because Jay literally saved your life a little bit longer to be part of the bloodline. Now, when it comes to the injury that Jimmy sustained, I don't know if that was real. I don't know if that was storylined. The fact that Sammy stood up again, who else would do that? Sammy stood up and helped Jay defend those tag titles, and that's why the Usos still got him.
That man was taking kick
After kick.
That man was bulletproof for real.
He really
He was
is.
showing it. I said, good grief.
But and then Roman said, I don't want to see you until the Rumble. So I'm feeling like there's going to be another test there. I felt like he got past the test last night and helping the Usos keep the titles, but I feel like there's going to be a bigger one. So we'll just have to wait until the Rumble and see.
You look at everything, and I mean, and Kevin Owens always seems to be the thorn that just keeps coming back. He's that itch you can't scratch. He's that, virus you can't get rid of, whatever euphemism you want to use.
He's the cockroach.
Owens, exactly, just seems to always be standing in Roman Reigns' way. He can't get rid of him. He can't somehow part ways with him. And at this stage, he's ready for the KO problem to be gone. And Sammy, who, of course, for years has been Kevin Owens' best friend and in his corner, now all of a sudden starting to, bring about some differences in terms of the bloodline and how he's continuing to side with the family, even though it means having to, essentially tell his best friend off. And so, I will, unfortunately got to call Kia out, at least at the minimum. There was not a dry eye in that living room for last night's Tribal Court. I think you maybe could feel that one starting, Sammy on his way out, and then Jay came in.
Because you have to understand,
saved him, everything else.
This is just good storytelling for the last 2 years. Good storytelling in the making with the whole entire bloodline and how it started and where it is now and where it's going to be and how it's going to turn out. I feel like for me, I was against Sammy the whole time. And then you have to think, the more I kept watching and watching and watching, I think at some point in the middle of the whole thing, I think I finally got behind him because he literally started.
He started taking them bullets.
He's taking kicks to the head. He's taking chairs to the back. He's taking it all.
Dang.
So I was like, I'm sitting here thinking, getting emotional and crying. It's like, if you literally kick this man out because what Heyman is saying, then that means you take what Heyman says clearly over what Sammy has shown.
And at the end of the day, and this tells you right there, just from our discussion right here, we're at 4 minutes on the clock. And I don't think we've said one word about the match itself. It has all been about Sami Zayn. And there's no question he'll play a role in this match somehow. But at the end of the day, Roman Reigns is on the greatest run we've seen in the last 30 years. But Owens has been the person that, arguably short of Brock Lesnar, has been the person closest to stopping it.
Yeah. I feel like he's like one of the kids I work with. Like, he's literally sitting here laughing at all the mess he's doing to Roman. And then he keeps coming up with more stuff to get in his way. And it's getting into Roman's skin in a way. But he's not quite showing it. But it's got to be. And Kevin is sitting here thinking, what else can I do to get under his skin? Oh, I can do this. And the only thing I hate is that I feel like Kevin Owens, I don't think he's doing it intentionally to sow the seeds inside Roman's head. I think it's just kind of how it's playing out because Sammy and Owens were close. You have to think, outside of the storyline, they really are friends. So inside the storyline, you have to think about what they went through together before Sammy kind of fell off and thought he was being conspiracy taken and everything else. Yeah.
Going back to Psycho Sammy back
Lord
then.
Mercy, Lord
but,
mercy.
credit to where it's due before we get to our picks here. But, the long-term storytelling we have told.
Beautiful.
And, you can go back. When I say long-term, you can talk 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. There are so many layers to this story. It's something like, we're talking about Shrek and the Onion here. It's insane because it is easily the most watchable thing. It's like a Spanish telenovela or something. It is insanity because you get hooked. It was the highest rated Raw segment in something like 4 years. Yesterday with the Tribal Court, people were hooked. 2.6 million people watched that segment. It was incredible. But moving on to getting to the picks here, obviously, we know what Owens is capable of. We know he's capable of beating Reigns. But the question is, can he do it, even with Zayn's loyalty kind of being tested here? Kia, you're up first.
I'm just going to go ahead and with 24 seconds left, I'm just going to go ahead and pick Roman. Because for me, I want to see Roman and Rhodes go against one another. And
Spoiler for the Royal Rumble, perhaps.
Okay, I'm a Cody Rhodes fan. I know this man's coming back. And if you saw how he ripped his pec, came back, and whipped Seth again for the 4th time, I feel like that could possibly happen with Roman. But hey, I digress until it happens. Roman, because, I mean, this is a good storyline, but I don't know if I want to see it on Owens now. I want to see it on someone who can come in and actually take a shot and actually win it off of Roman.
There's one thing I can say is one thing I could go with that possibly could have Owens win the championship. And that is because 2 Canadians, Sami Zayn then wins the Rumble, and then to defend his tribal chief, he goes after Owens at Elimination Chamber to win the titles back for Roman. I could see it. 2 Canadians, 2 best friends in front of a Montreal crowd at Elimination Chamber. I could see it. I don't think it happens, though. But I'm just saying, it's out there. And one dream, and it's been noted that Owens and Zayn have always said that their dream moment would be going against each other for the WWE Championship. And it just might happen less than a month from now if Owens pulls it off. But I am going to go with Roman Reigns to continue here. I think his run is too good. I think Sami will pass the test and do what needs to be done to keep the bloodline and the tribal chief sitting on his throne. I don't think it's going to take Alyssa long to pick here.
I'm already wearing the shirt. Y'all already know.
Let's get a nice
I've been
zoom.
doing this for a long time. Come on now.
There you
There's
go.
nothing new. Travel chief. We never had a doubt.
There was never a question
Darn
here. Moving to the OTRA's pick here. Assuming I can get my thing over here. There
yeah.
you go.
Exactly.
I did it one time.
That is correct.
One time. 79% going. Right now, the OTRA's in favor of Roman Reigns. I kind of predicted that to be a little closer. And, there's still a few days left before, the picks are official. But I'm kind of surprised to see Roman that high up, because I really thought this one would be a little closer. No. But it is what it is.
We all know.
Okay, tagging back out.
Peace out, y'all.
Cool.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Yeah.
And with that, it moves us to the final 2 matches of the card, which we're going to talk about together, and that is the respective Royal Rumble matches. 2 of them, one with 30 men, one with 30 women. It's easily my most favorite match of the year because the winner of this match, of course, moves on to main event WrestleMania. Usually the women main event night 1, the men usually main event night 2. One year they might switch that up if the matchup is just right. But, first of all, as a guy who loves the entrances, minus the pyro,
that is correct.
That's for you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
It's easily my favorite match of the year because you have so many people. The possibilities are endless in terms of who can show up, in what order, the storylines you can match up both current and past, where people who maybe had a rivalry with each other could be able to get themselves back into it. So we are adding a couple of extra minutes to this one because we are discussing 2 matches in this particular one.
So it's 8 minutes total for those that
Correct.
are math bad at math just like me.
Jeez. But again, because the thing about it is like it's not like there's much, like facts or anything you can throw out here in terms of anything that's going to help this year's competitors, because the only people in each of the matches is a handful of people that have declared. And even though they declared, it's not like a lot of them are surprises, I mean, you knew Seth Rollins was going to be in the men's, Braun Strowman, the nice return of Cody Rhodes, of course, being in there, but I don't think that goes over anybody. I think everybody kind of knew that was going to happen. There's always a few surprises. And then the women's side's exactly the same. You look at Zelina Vega, you look at Rhea Ripley, you look at Liv Morgan, just to name a few. That's, the competitors that are currently lined up for that Rumble match are not necessarily surprises or anything. So it really just comes down to using the time instead of necessarily making a pick until the end. Each one of us having a minute or two to kind of talk about what, if you could predict your Rumble, what direction would you want it to go? Not necessarily that's your pick, but, if you could hand pick the WrestleMania main event, literally going with or against any storyline, what direction would you want to see it? We'll start with Alyssa.
We're talking about men's or women's? Or
Either,
both?
because we're technically discussing both, so run either one.
Let's see. For the men's, personally want to see it go to like Seth. You know, I've been riding the Seth train for a long time. Come on now.
We keep getting burned too.
And do. But that's okay. But that's okay because guess what? I'm going to be a dummy for that train. And am. And am. Ride that thing till the wheels fall off. And will.
I think those wheels have already fallen off, broken down.
Hey, that's all right. Because guess what? Alyssa's still chugging. All right? Thank you. Choo-choo. Exactly. But no, you got to think. Last year, they just drugged this man through the mud. Did him dirty. Like...
Well, he was asked to put people over.
Yeah, and I mean, he did that and did it great. So, yes, but I want to see that receipt.
Well, how many people can you sit here and say, Seth Rollins won Superstar of the Year, both with WWE and on our OTRA show? Again, that's going over the historic run of Roman Reigns, where he held the title all 365 days of the year. And yet, Seth Rollins, despite having the most losses of anyone on the roster, male or female, won Superstar of the Year. Do you know how good you got to be at your job to do that?
Mm-hmm. Real good.
Insanity.
Super good.
So you like Rollins facing Reigns? You want to see that one again?
Yeah.
I mean, you know they're gonna put on a show.
I know they're gonna put on a show. You know they're friends. You know it's great, and I love that for them. I don't want them to win, but you know.
What about the women?
You can split them up. For the women. I'm trying to remember all the women. One stands out to me, and it's Rhea.
Mommy. Yeah, I can see it.
But not in that persona, you know, just on her own, you know?
I'll take her in any persona.
Shut your mouth, Steven.
Hey, you got to drool over Roman. My turn.
Barely.
So Rhea and Seth. Not necessarily maybe your picks, but if you could like hand pick, you know, your
If I could hand pick, I want to see that stuff, because you know they're going to put on good matches.
Gotcha. If you could hand pick your Rumble winners for Mania, where you heading? That's to the shock of no one.
I'm sorry. You saw this man literally beat the brakes off of Seth, and y'all know how much I love Seth. Y'all know how much I love Seth, but the fact that Cody came back and did what he did, and then to win a fourth match with a torn pec, by the way, that was one of the things that was on our show, is our Ultra Awards first annual
Match
one.
of the year.
I want him to come back, because his story has been playing out. You've seen his story from start to finish. You've heard from the doctors. You've heard from him. You've heard from Brandy. You've heard from literally everybody. So now at this point, I want him to come back, win the whole entire Rumble, go up against Roman, and make his dad proud. Because that's what he seems like he's come back for. He said he's doing it for him, he's doing it for the fans, and he's doing it for his dad. There's no more you can really go but get behind than that. So, and, you know, for Alyssa, kind of drop the pyro a little bit, please.
Yeah, please.
Well, just a little bit.
Two set of fireworks instead of three?
Well, no, not even the two. You know, you can just drop that down to that one right there at the beginning, because that one's enough to take me out in the first place. Thank you and good night.
For me, it's going to be Cody, because Seth took him out and messed him up, and the torn pec just kind of did it for me. So I feel like if he came back with torn pec and was able to beat Seth again, I feel like he could do it. At this point, I feel like he's invincible too.
Bulletproof. We're going to use that a lot, I can tell.
As the women, I don't know, because I really was wanting Charlotte to come back and be the one who, and I know people are going to sit here and say, she's doing this. You know what? Give her credit. She hasn't been around. And the funny thing is, I said on our annual show, I was like, where is Charlotte?
Exactly.
And then that same night,
If she didn't show up that night. And won gold.
I talked that into existence.
You haven't seen Plate Exchange? Go watch it. It's up right now.
I talked it into existence. But that was who, if I had a reason, that would have been who I wanted to come back to win. My vote is, and you have to understand, as much as I love Becky, that's where I'm headed.
Mm-hmm.
Rhea would be a good close pick. I really don't want Sonya. I'm getting tired. What she's doing is stale at this point. Girl, if you hadn't won it by now, and, you know, Pierce is not going to let you win it, give up. Please give up. Lord and mercy. So I'm pulling for Becky, and not Ronda, not Sonya, Becky.
So moving on to mine, and I'll start with the women first, because y'all went men, women, so I'll go the other way. Again, not my choice, but if I could hand pick, a storyline to run with, I agree to a certain extent with Charlotte, having had an opportunity, because I would have loved to have seen finally that Charlotte, Bianca Belair storyline in terms of how that would work out.
I feel like we're still going to get to see it, but go ahead.
I mean, it's going to happen at some point. Bianca's got a receipt as long as her braid,
Really, she does.
for Charlotte.
She
If
really
you go back to
does.
those NXT days, it's insane how long that one is. But, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here. If I could hand pick the matchup, I think it's time for Shayna Baszler to finally get that Rumble win.
Yeah.
First of all, number 30, 2 out of the last 3 years. I wonder if that's going to happen again. But Shayna, in her form right now, getting an opportunity to go up against Charlotte Flair, who took out Ronda against her better wishes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I really feel like if I could hand-pick a person, that would be who I'd go with. For the men, I don't care about the storylines. I don't care about who it is. There is one person right now that head and shoulders above the rest, and it is not going to be who you're saying back there. No, it's Jay freaking Uso.
Yes!
I have been waiting for years. This is the moment you push him over, and I've heard people after people all across, social media that are like, if you don't put a singles title on this man at some point, you have wasted your time. I get the whole thing about being the longest reigning tag champs, but after that's over, whenever that ends, against who, run this man a singles run.
Yeah.
It is time for Jey Uso. He has put himself out there. That's no shot against Jimmy.
Nope.
But Jey, and he netted the benefit of Jimmy's injury a couple of years ago, that he deserves that push. And I feel like this is when you can use a match like this to really catapult you to that next level. This is what put Steve Austin on the map. This is what really put Rey Mysterio on that next level. This is what took people like The Rock, who was still middle of the road, then got him up over the top at that stage. This is the match to do it. If I could handpick it, that's not my prediction here, but that's who I would go with. But now we move on to who we do pick. For this one, though, I am going to point out the OTRAs first, because they did have to do this one by actually, writing in their picks, because obviously the poll is too long. But just seeing where things stand at the moment. Over here, and I know it's tough to see, so Alyssa, you just have to do your best, but the Women's Rumble right now, Rhea Ripley is leading the way with Liv Morgan. We didn't say a word about her. A Naomi return.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that might happen. Raquel Rodriguez also on the list, and then Ronda Rousey also possibly repeating as the winner as well.
As far as the men go, number 1 is Seth. Number 2 is The Rock. Number 3 is Cody Rhodes. Number 4 is Sami Zayn. And number 5 is Steve Austin.
How about the 3-time winner? Wouldn't that be a pop in San Antonio, again in Texas?
That would
Get
make
Steve
sense.
Austin to come back and shock the world. And I know he's had discussions. He wants to wrestle some more. So, you got to put him up against the right guy. But, you could see something like that. And, I don't think any of the picks on the men's side are necessarily shockers. Rhea over here and whatnot. When it comes to our predictions, though, we do have to make them here. And this is where we talked about these are 5-point picks because there's only one correct answer. You have to go with the person that earns the title match at the end. But you literally have every person past and present available as an option. That's why this is tough. But 5 points apiece. And I'm pretty sure I'm up, so I've got to start things off. God almighty. For the women's, I gotta go with my girl. Naomi's coming back. I think this is the year it finally happens. And I'm basing this pick on not only her returning, but also I think this is the year you win it. I think she did what she needed to do, and despite all of it, you haven't heard her badmouth the company. You haven't heard her, say any slander. You didn't say her, any of this, mess that you've been hearing about. She stayed loyal, and I think this is the moment to bring her back, and not just bring her back, but put her in that spotlight. Don't tell me Naomi and Bianca would not absolutely slap at them, or you give Naomi and Charlotte, finally giving them that one-on-one they deserve.
Yep.
For the men's side, I got to go with the OTRAs here. I'm going with Seth Rollins. I think for every reason that Alyssa said earlier, he did everything the company asked him to do. He did every last thing the company asked him to do last year. He put over person after person. He put over himself, or put over Cody Rhodes. He put over Riddle. He put over more people that I can count. He had a banger with Roman Reigns this time last year. This is when it's time to reward him. This is when it's time to put him in there and tell me that a 2-month buildup of Rollins versus Reigns with all of their history would not absolutely get people ready to go to that main event of WrestleMania.
Hey.
I just want to clarify. We can choose the same people?
Absolutely.
Everybody would get 5 points?
Everybody would get 5.
Jesus.
That wouldn't help the people that are behind, but, one advantage of having the lead at this time of year, but
All
also
right.
this is where she's got an opportunity, and you as well, and the OTRAs as well, all with an opportunity to start making up some ground, but you'd have to go with someone other than me, in order to make up that ground. So many options.
Yeah.
You literally only have everyone who's ever wrestled as a choice.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with Seth because I like my argument there. And for the women's, who all are the other women?
That's the thing, is that very few women have basically declared, so it's tough to know. I mean, you kind of can project that virtually the entire women's roster, minus Charlotte, Sonya, Alexa, and Bianca, and even then, don't tell me Bianca don't have the stamina that if she loses to Alexa that she can't go back out there and win. Brock lost last year and came back out and won, so it's not impossible, and Bianca definitely has the stamina to do it.
I feel like she could, but
I'm going to go Rhea.
Rhea?
I know it's wrong, but I'm going to go Rhea.
And
if it's not wrong, then I never doubted.
They've been hyping and really teasing Rhea and Bianca for some time.
They
now.
really have, and
at
that's
some
why.
stage, you got to do something with Judgment Day.
Yeah.
You had a chance to put the tag titles on, and
You
you didn't do
didn't.
it.
you did.
You had a chance to
You
put.
sent Dom to jail, and now he's gangster.
Yeah, good night.
Jail changes a man. Okay,
Goodbye.
That's rough time right there.
The tattoo on his eye. Who died over there on his side of the line?
No, Rhea just drew it over there while she was over there with
Now we're going to
it.
LA for Mania. Is he a blood or a crip? How's this work?
Oh, I'm not getting shot for
Neither.
nobody. I'm not.
Neither. He's
I'm
a
wearing
chicken.
neutral gray.
Thank
Okay,
you and
this is-
good night.
Gracious.
We're just
So
playing.
Rhea and Seth.
Rhea and Seth.
Fire.
Okay, so for me, you have to understand, this is in San Antonio. We completely forgot Raquel is from Texas. So, also
I
with
can't do the whole back muscle thing,
with her being drugged through the mud, busted open, broken, and everything by Rhonda and Shayna, I feel like, I feel like Shayna is a good close second, honestly. But if you cannot give that to Raquel, not really give, because I think Raquel earns everything she works for, then I don't know. But for me, it's going to be Raquel. At least from this list.
Is that a Texas girl rooting for a Texas girl?
It really is. Come on, girl, get it done.
And you gonna go with the Texas rattlesnake over there
No,
for the
I'm not.
men's, or going a different route?
No, I'm
Nope.
not.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. If he was around, he was wrestling. It's nothing against my boy. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I'm sticking to my baby, Cody. I feel like his story has been told. I feel like he's been telling that story since he's walked through the door back into WWE, which, again, was not a hard decision for him. So, no, I'm going Raquel, and I'm going Cody.
And I think Cody right now is the betting favorite, I believe, across Vegas right now. So I don't think that's necessarily a surprise. And I think Rhea is actually the betting favorite for the women's
Really?
as well. It's close though. There are a lot of people closer on the women's side than there are on the men's, and that's with a lot of people not even declaring. So you don't even know if the person you pick is even going to be in it. I mean, I'm literally taking a pick that I can't even guarantee is even going to be in the state, let alone wrestling in this match. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see how it all pans out, but. That's the fun of it, but we'll be live right there in San Antonio to see it all for the Royal Rumble. One last look at this just amazing poster. I mean, I hope they keep these up. I really do. But we'll be there. If you see on the ring apron Mania Club shirts and jackets, come by, say hi. Closing thoughts, ladies. I'll let y'all finish things up.
Can y'all see Seth's crazy self up there laughing? Because I feel like he's in God mode on top of the...
Oh, hang on. I can get it back.
Disrespectful.
I knew I shouldn't have set the timer on. I think
I feel like he's in God mode. I feel like he's laughing because everybody's underestimating him, including myself. But I feel like he knows he's going to win. So, yeah. But these renders are great. I'm wishing the best for everybody that has a match that night. And there cannot be no wrong. Good luck to everybody. Good luck to those extra points because I need them.
Swear.
But everybody,
Me
enjoy,
too.
No, you don't.
enjoy the Rumble, and we'll catch you guys on Saturday. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.